Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. A lot of people on YouTube and on the business networks have been talking about Kraft Heinz' recent plummet on Friday. Kraft Heinz was down like about 30%. I actually bought in at 35%. And a lot of people were talking about how Kraft Heinz is an old dinosaur, it's out of date. And this is one of Warren Buffett's big stocks, but it also is one of my big stocks because up until Friday, Kraft Heinz was my second biggest holding in my dividend portfolio. However, now it's my biggest holding. I moved a lot of my money over into Kraft Heinz. I actually doubled my holding in Kraft Heinz on Friday. And a lot of people have been criticizing Kraft Heinz, like how much debt it has, which is about $31 billion. But I'm very optimistic about Kraft Heinz' future, and I just want to explain why in this video. The first reason why is because in the food business, if you want to be a big player, it is very important that you have good distribution. Distribution is your ability to get your products out to people. One of the best ways to distribute food in this market is through grocery stores. So you have warehouses that you keep your stuff in, and then you sell it to grocery stores, and then people come to the grocery stores and buy your food. Now, I don't know if later on, maybe whenever online shopping for groceries becomes more popular, if that's going to change anything. But right now, though, the best way for a food company to get their product to the consumer is through stores. And Kraft Heinz has a huge market share in that regard. They dominate the shelves in grocery stores, and they have so many brands like Velveeta, Smart Ones, Heinz, ketchup, all these things. There's a lot of things people buy that they don't even know Kraft Heinz owns it. So their distribution game is spot on. The second reason why I'm not worried is because Kraft Heinz has consistently showed an increase in revenue despite the changing market conditions. Everybody keeps saying that Kraft Heinz is getting behind because everything's changing, people's product tastes are changing. But if you look at the numbers, the sales for Kraft Heinz, even in this quarterly report where Kraft Heinz stock plummeted, sales were up. So revenue is not really a problem for Kraft Heinz. Kraft Heinz has been doing just fine, and they have shown themselves to be a very adaptable company. Now, a lot of people say that $31 billion is too much for debt, but a lot of these people that say that invest in Apple, and Apple has $258 billion in debt. So anyone who's trying to say that Kraft Heinz has too much debt, if you're invested in Apple, you better check your logical consistency there. That's just a and Kraft Heinz does have plenty of revenue to pay down their debt. And they cut their dividend, which, I don't like dividend cuts. I don't like that they had to cut it, but as a stockholder, if I'm invested in a company, I want a company to make smart decisions with the money. If they do that, then I will win in the long run because I'll get a better rate of return on my stock. So if Kraft Heinz has to cut their dividend in order to help clean house a little bit, I am totally for that. I'll take a short-term sacrifice in dividend income so that the company that I have put my faith in and put my stock in will be able to perform better in the future. So I think it's reasonable. I actually think, looking at the numbers, I think it was a good idea for Kraft Heinz to cut its dividend, and it cut it by 30%. And then I bought into the shares as they went down about 35% on Friday. That was like about the low of the day. Now, I didn't time it. It just happened to work out that way. I had to go get my friend from her mother's apartment, and I just made a trade before I left. I didn't even know that I was trading close to the bottom. So I did not time that. That just happened. But I'm very happy about getting these shares. A lot of on these big staple companies, buying opportunities like these don't come around often. And I understand if someone is reluctant to invest in Kraft Heinz, for various reasons. But for me, I think Kraft Heinz is a great company. I wouldn't be surprised if Warren Buffett didn't sell one single share of Kraft Heinz on Friday. I very much doubt that he did. Because the business model is still the same. The business model is still working. And Kraft Heinz is not going anywhere. And anyone who says otherwise, I think they're just simply wrong. So that is why I am still invested in Kraft Heinz. That's why I bought even more when it went down. And, whenever a company's undervalued, and Kraft Heinz already was undervalued. Now it's way undervalued, like super undervalued. So whenever you see a good company like that's value drop, always check the valuation of the company. You can see my previous video, how I value companies. But check the previous valuation for the company, and you might just find that you might be able to get a good deal on that stock. Whenever you are investing in quality companies and you know their worth, there are two types of stocks. There's a gainers, which are the ones that are making money and their stock price is going up, and then there are the bargains, the quality companies that are trading at a discount price. And this is what Kraft Heinz is right now, in my opinion, a discount price. Now, I'm not saying everyone should buy Kraft Heinz, but I'm just saying that I think that Kraft Heinz is a good company. That is my opinion. As for the SEC investigation, it's not uncommon for the SEC to investigate companies. And there hasn't really been anything specific the SEC has objected to. They've only ambiguously stated that they were looking into accounting practices by Kraft Heinz. I don't foresee any problems there. I think everything's going to turn out fine in the end there. So if they do find anything, I'm sure it would be very minor. And at worst, it would just result in a change of leadership, not the end of Kraft Heinz. The business model, even under new leadership, will likely be very similar to what it is now. Because food business is common sense. There's not much to it. You get shelf space in grocery stores, and people buy your stuff. That is the proper model for anyone who wants to dominate the food industry. It is not complicated. Anyway, this is what I think about Kraft Heinz. So, do you have an opinion? Do you agree or disagree? Just feel free to comment below. And as always, hope you have a great week, and God bless.